mud rise up. Dress me like a lamb for the slaughter, pour me in your cup. Should've known we'd bring trouble, trouble gonna find you here. Trouble. Trouble. Trouble.
Hello everyone and welcome to Table Talks with Project 6-8. I'm Beth.
I'm Kylie.
And I'm Meg. Today we are going to be talking about what the fruits of the spirits within the next 9 weeks. We are going to be breaking them down one by one and talking to you guys about what each of the fruit of the spirit is. There are 9 fruits of the spirit, and they are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So for today, we are going to be talking about love.
Yeah. And so when we were discussing the fruits of the Spirit, what really drove our want to do this study even is that we look at the world and we see a lack of these qualities. And the fruits of the Spirit, you might be thinking, well, why would the Bible take the time to list these? Well, it's because as the Christian, these are supposed to be the fruits that are developing in us through our walk with Christ. In greater maturity, we should develop more love, more joy, more peace. The more we do that, the more we look like Jesus. These are all the things that Jesus exhibited perfectly, and we're being transformed from the inside out, the renewing of our mind that we hear a lot about. This is it, you guys. We've developed these 9 fruits of the Spirit. And side note, because I hear my husband pulling in, this is my home. I have a dog and I have kids. So you might hear them, but we're just going to keep chugging along.
So Meg, to add on from what you were saying, the fruits of the Spirit is something that comes from the Holy Spirit and works within us.
Yes.
The Spirit produces these character traits that are found in the nature of Christ.
Yes.
They are the products of Christ's control, and we cannot obtain them by ourselves. It's by having a relationship with Christ. Mm-hmm. And then the Spirit gives us those fruits, and they grow within us.
Yes, exactly.
And even, I actually have the verse. It's in Galatians 5. Oh, I'm sorry. It's John 15:4-5. It says, "Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." Mm-hmm. So right there in the scripture is saying you cannot bear these fruits unless you have Christ in your life. Mm-hmm. So the first fruit of the Spirit that we are going to be talking about today is love. Mm-hmm. As far as when you think of love or even look in the dictionary, love is described as something... as love for a spouse, a love for a family member, or it could be a love for a job, something that you kind of desire, I guess you could say. But let's look really into the Bible as far as what love truly is.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Go.
I was just going to say, John 15:13, we kind of talked about this a little bit, and I'm just going to, what love truly is, and like you already said, how we feel love is almost like an infatuation, like you said earlier. And like we feel that towards our spouse, we feel that towards our friends, we feel that towards our pets. But truly, in John 15:13, it says, there is no greater love than laying down one's life for a friend. And perfect example, as always, Jesus laid down his life for us, and that is a true love. And it was painful, it hurt. He watched people that he loved spit on him and just like curse his name, and he's just producing this great act for selfish people, and he just went through with it, and that's, to me, is just the purest love.
Yes. That goes to show love in reality, where we talked about the infatuation and that lovey-dovey feeling that everyone thinks of. That's not love, actually. Love is an action. It's not a feeling. And I would go a step further and saying, if you haven't acted upon love, you're not loving that person. And so, like Kylie said, Jesus, the perfect example. He acted. And love actually hurts when you're doing it properly. So God lists it as number one for a reason, because I believe that all the others build upon this. So
it's an act of selflessness. To truly love is to act selfless. And you don't even, when you truly are in love with something or someone, not something, that I don't like using that.
Well, you can love something.
Yeah.
I love coffee.
That's true. But it wouldn't make sense to what I'm about to say next. But for coffee, initially, I would not think of myself, like if I'm doing something for my husband, to truly love him and do this action for him, my thought shouldn't be, but how is this going to affect me?
Yeah.
It should be, what does he need? How can I love him? Or how is this loving on him correctly?
Yeah. No, that's good.
No, it's true. It's more as far as how you said, how is it affecting me? You're not getting the feel good out of it.
Yeah.
It should be selfless and should just come naturally and easy.
Yes.
Especially to a spouse.
Yes.
Well, and it doesn't always, though, and that's the sacrifice part.
No.
That's my daughter at the door. I don't know how she got outside is the scary thing. I'm sorry.
It makes us more real.
Yes. If I could, I'll read this from Corinthians.
Yes,
all right.
do.
This is the chapter is entitled Love. So here we go.
Perfect.
If you didn't hear me before, 1 Corinthians 13. And I'm reading the whole chapter. It's not that long. If I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not love, I have become as sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not love, I am nothing. If I give all my goods to feed the poor, and if I give my body to be burned and have not love, it profits me nothing. Ouch. Love suffers long and is kind. Love envies not. Love flaunts not itself and is not puffed up. Oh, I like that. Does not behave itself improperly. Seeks not its own. Is not easily provoked. Thinks no evil. Rejoices not in untruth, but rejoices in the truth. Bears all things. Believes all things. Hopes all things and endures all things. Love never fails. But if there are prophecies, they shall fail. If there are tongues, they shall cease. And if there is knowledge, it shall vanish. My apologies. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect comes, then that which is imperfect shall pass away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see as through a glass dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know, even as I also am known. So now abide faith, hope, and love, these three. But the greatest of these is love. So if I can hit on this real quick before I forget, that last part, for we know in part and prophesy in part, when he's saying, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, then I became a man, and I put those childish things behind me. He's saying there, this is Paul, he's saying that we mature. If we do all these things, like we're on fire for Jesus, we're doing these things, but we don't love, then you're still like as a child. You're only seeing things in part. When you become transformed and are doing these things purely with the love of Christ in mind, then you are maturing onto that food and all, as a man. You put those childish things behind you.
Even taking it back to the very beginning in the Bible in Genesis. Let me back up real quick. Even in 1 John 4:19, it says, we love because he first loved us. And this goes all the way back to Genesis, really, when God created the earth and he created man. And really, he wanted to share his creation with us because he loved us. So it's not just these verses like in the New Testament thing. It goes all the way to the beginning of creation.
Yes.
That God loved us so much, he wanted to share his creation with us. I know we kind of talked about as far as ultimate love, when Jesus died on a cross and everything. We were actually talking about this the other day, and it's so true, about how sometimes when we get angry with somebody else, we say hurtful words, hurtful things. I'm not saying like we swear them, or it's just kind of like, you idiot, like, why are you doing this? And we were just talking the other day about, could you imagine just Jesus hanging on the cross? You guys, he knew the crucifixion was coming his entire life. And he still chose love. And he chose to die on that cross for us so we can have eternal life with him. But could you imagine just seeing him hanging on that cross and he didn't speak a word to them? And it's like, I know if someone was hurting me, I would be snapping back at them like, why are you doing this? Like, don't you know what I have done for you? But Jesus says, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. And to me, that like really struck, like, that is love.
That is love.
Yeah.
And I think we can look at all our relationships. So taking that, and we want to be Christ to others, we need to look at the relationship and literally think of when Jesus says, take up your cross and follow me. How do I love that person? It's not, and honestly, it's hard most of the time. It's not, I've said before, it's not easy. It costs something. It costs something to follow Jesus. It costs something to love someone well. But it's here. If you do all those things without love, it's like you didn't even do it. It doesn't matter. So all these things are under the, I want to say, I'm visual, the title of love. Does that make sense? It all comes under love.
And we literally die to ourselves. Like, we die to ourselves when we become Christians and let Jesus in. But that's how you express love, and you express it with a servant heart as well. And I've been talking about Exodus lately, but I'm going to pull it back in. But it's proof, like, even in Genesis and then Exodus, how God loved even in the beginning of the Bible and through the whole thing, because he produced these, from the commandments to the social responsibility. He like nailed it down to what to do if your ox kills another person's ox. And he's so thorough in detail because he loved us that much that he just wanted it all written out. He has it all right here for us. And he stood between, or in front of all the Israelites, which back in that day was an expression of servitude. And which I never knew that, but it's just interesting to learn all these things because of the culture and what things mean. And he's basically saying, here I am, this is my love to you. I am acting as a servant to you right now.
I stand before you.
I stand before you. And then he cracked the rock and the living water came out. And it's just amazing to see just how long we've always been his pride and joy since the beginning of time. He loves us so much, and he literally will do anything. He sent his one and only son for us, and gives us second chances, third chances, fourth chances.
When you really look at the Bible, the redemptive love of God is like in every Sunday school Bible story. That's the theme of it all. When you like Genesis, Joseph, he redeems his family. Moses, so many, I don't have to name it all. But that's God revealing himself all through the Bible, pointing to Jesus, saying that this is the pinnacle. I give myself for you.
And how selfish has man been the whole time? Let's just figure it out. And so,
oh my gosh, I'm so guilty.
Me too. And it's just like, we need to recognize, we can't even recognize love, I don't think, without even having Jesus in our heart. I truly believe that.
No, I've seen it.
And so, because not even like a month, I don't even know the time period after God brought the Israelites out of Egypt, and they're already complaining about, well, what are we going to eat? What are we going to do here? Like, what's the next step? And it's just, His love is just immaculate.
It's redemptive.
Yes.
It gives over and over and over again. And in our humanness, it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But with God, all things are possible. And
Yes.
that's why the fruits of the Spirit are the sign of a maturing, developing Christian. And like I said before, we become more and more like Christ. Love. Here's a challenge. This week, think of a relationship in your life. Think how you can love that person specifically this week. And it has to cost you something. I'll be really real. I've had kids here a lot lately, and I love my kids, but sometimes I'm tired. Okay, I'm just being real. So last night I was tired, but I thought to myself, I truly haven't had quality time with my kids today. And they wanted to play. I suggested to them, let's play a game. And in that moment, not that playing a game is such a big deal, but it was a sacrifice for me. I wanted to just sit on the couch and veg out and watch TV. But I went, nope, I'm going to love my kids. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to play this game, invest some quality time into them. Now, was that a huge sacrifice? No. But it was intentional, and it cost me something. I was tired, but
Sleep.
yeah, sleep. So exactly. It can be as simple as that. Think of a relationship this week that you can intentionally go out of your way and love that person.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. That's good. And do you have anything else?
Oh, I was going to just say, as far as how we can show love, and just kind of like how Meg, you were saying, go out our way and show that to that person, or take interest in what they want, even if you really don't want to do it. So.
Yeah. Just, I feel like selfishness has been such a theme in my life. So it's just go out, be Jesus.
Yeah.
And to be Jesus, you got to be selfless.
Yes.
And just show love.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a world full, not to be cliche, but the truth, but in a world full of hate, show love.
And that's really, as Christians, how we can show love, is spreading the word of Jesus.
Let his love shine through you.
Yes.
Well, and there's the verse that says they will know you, they will know us by our love, and they're referring to Christians there.
Yes.
I apologize, I don't know where it's at, but that's how they should, people should be able to recognize that's a Christian.
Yeah.
They're different. There's
Yeah.
something
King
different
James.
about her.
Yeah.
Anything else, or anything else to add?
I feel like another podcast, something that this love suffers long and it's kind, all that right there, 13, 4 through 7. You could just talk about that forever.
Oh yeah, there's lots of, oh my gosh, we have so many things that I feel like have just been flowing. And if you guys ever have anything that you want us to talk about or touch on, just send us a DM on Facebook or Instagram or our website. There's a little suggestion box on there as well. So yeah.
And I want to say I'm sorry for the interruptions, but you know what? Those are my little blessings right now. So
We love them.
Yes, it is what it is.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope that you guys got something from this lesson, and join us next week where we will be talking about joy.
Yay!